Two giant social media companies are facing a grand jury this week, and it is a landmark case. Attorneys for the plaintiffs are arguing that Meta and YouTube deliberately addicted and harmed children's mental health.
It's a trial that could have major implications on other cases. We've already been quizzing our legal analyst, Whitney Traylor, about this. And it's just in its first week right now so far.
Yeah, they just started on Monday. It's expected to go 8 weeks. It's going to be a long...
A jury trial.
It's a jury trial, yes. There's 18
Which is
jurors.
interesting in and of itself.
That's going to be very interesting because it's going to be a complex case to try. So there's going to be a lot of expertise. There's going to be a lot of technical evidence. It's going to be... they're going to have to pay attention. There's a lot to this lawsuit, but it's fundamentally important. The results of it will have far-reaching consequences for sure.
Anybody who's had children of age to use a phone with these social media apps on there, whether they're using YouTube or whatever, will be able to tell you that it is addictive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody is disagreeing with that here, right? The plaintiffs are saying that you did this deliberately. You knew you were doing this.
That's what the plaintiffs are saying. And then, of course, the tech companies are defending, saying, no, it wasn't. But the plaintiffs are also saying this led to the mental health issues. And so that's really what stood out to me as they had opening statements and what have you. The plaintiffs were arguing, hey, this is a digital casino, and the endless scroll feature is what creates dopamine hits that can lead to addiction. Now, the defense on their opening, they're coming with a whole different story. And here they're saying that this plaintiff, she had a difficult family life. It wasn't social media that was responsible for her mental health situations. And they even went as far as to say social media may have been a healthy outlet. So you have two competing stories.
Oh, wow.
Right. And that's really, you speak to the jury system, which I'm an advocate for, but whoever is the most persuasive is going to win in terms of the jury. But I think the defense has a harder time because we all use social media and we all look up and we're 2 hours in and we're saying, so the everyday person is going to already be filtered and leaning towards the plaintiff, I think, even though they're supposed to come in unbiased and just listen to the evidence.
Yeah,
I don't know who would say that.
It's like, anybody on that jury has been exposed to it. And if they have kids, they're exposed to it.
Correct.
And if they, so they know what you're talking about. We've been talking about addictions, like whether it doesn't matter if you're addicted to gambling, you're addicted to smoking, you're addicted to booze. But this reminds us a lot of when you talk about the smoking cases.
Yes, in the 90s, in the big tobacco, and the issue here is, did they know? And that's going to be the argument. And so already, even in the opening statements, they introduced some of the internal documents. And so I have some quotes that I think really stood out to me. And so one, they said, as far as Meta, they said, if the company wanted to win big with teens, it must bring them in as tweens. So they already knew. And then YouTube, they said they want to be used as a short-term, these are internal documents, as a short-term digital babysitter while parents cook, clean, and do laundry. So they knew the impact that they wanted to have. And that's partly what's going to be introduced is the expert testimony about the impact.
So the trial started this week.
Yes.
There's going to be evidence, from both sides. You already said the defense is going to go after this young woman who I believe was in her 20s. She was around 10 when this, but what are the implications here? If the defense loses this case, I would imagine there's a cascade.
Yes. There's going to be a cascade of lawsuits. There's actually already 1,000 cases pending dealing with the same thing. Some are dealing with sexual exploitation. Some are dealing with the addiction. There's lawsuits in New Mexico that they said they were failing to protect young users from sexual exploitation. In Oakland, there's a school district or school districts that are actually suing to say the harm that they've done to children. And then there's 40 attorneys general that have brought lawsuits as well related to the addiction aspect. So if these social media companies lose, then, and it's determined that, yes, you have caused these mental health issues and you knew it was addictive, we're going to see a plethora of cases, and we'll probably see them actually change their policy. Because one of the arguments is that the parental controls and those kind of things are ineffective. You have frictionless where you just check off, yes, I'm over 18.
Right.
There's no real control there. So I would suspect you would see a lot of changes in how the companies move forward, especially as it relates to young people.
Well, we should all be watching this.
Yes.
This is important to everyone.
Yes,
So,
it is.
Whitney, thank you so much.
Sure.
And we know you'll probably be back with more.
All right, let's do it.